So we'll call the meeting to order, please. We're gonna do the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Three screens in this little.
You can see us in stereo.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna welcome our new commissioners. You want to introduce yourself, please?
Oh, yeah, my name is Kevin Hyder. I manage the First Interstate Bank here in town. I've lived here for about 4 years now. And I also serve on the planning commission.
Oh, and Patrick.
My name's Patrick Hansbrough. I've lived here for about 4.5 years, love Seaside and like to be of value to the community. I'm a member of the Elks and the Rotary and Legion.
It's how to get into it all. Do you want to give your name? You just died. We're gonna go around the room here.
Yeah.
They don't know you.
Yeah, just check in with.
I'm Julia
with-
Weinberg. I am the secretary of this committee. I am a mental health therapist at Seaside Wellness Center. Down the highway, across from the estuary. And I'm also on the Classic County Human Service Commission and now the Parks Commission.
I'm Molly Irons. I've been permanently, well, I was raised down here, but permanently living since '96. And I've been on this commission. Don Larson appointed me, and he passed away quite a while ago, but I've been on it for about 15 years.
Hi,
I just like.
How are you,
to do a
Coach?
lot of volunteer intros.
And I'm Tita Montero, and I'm your city council liaison.
And I've known you for a long time.
and I'm Tracy McDonald, usually late,
Oh, you were here.
Consistent here.
Worth waiting for,
but here.
worth waiting for.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
That was in the paper.
Yeah, I saw that. And that was a good deal.
And I'm Darren Gooch. I work for the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District as their Director of Development. I have been a liaison to this commission for quite a long time now, probably about 15-ish
Yeah.
years. So, yeah, glad to be here and welcome to you too. Thanks, appreciate it.
We're pretty mild. Anyway, has anybody had a chance to read the minutes?
Yes,
Okay,
I would move that we accept them.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, the minute have been read, approved. All in favor, say aye. Okay, Darren, you're up.
Okay, yeah, financial report, not a lot going out. At the moment, you'll see no budgeted numbers in there right now. Apparently my finance manager is having a little bit of trouble getting the budget loaded into the software. It's being very finicky, so probably a comma or a dot in the wrong place somewhere. So he's working on getting that rectified, but as you can see, we actually haven't had a lot happening year to date since we just transitioned into the new fiscal year. So this report kind of runs on the fiscal year, July 1st through June 30. So a lot of the bills and things for the community center are just still coming in this month. So you'll see expenses under personnel services right at the moment, but not too many other things have really been processed since July 1st, or they're still waiting on a lot of those things to come in for July. So just not a lot happening there right at the moment. So more to come next month.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. That's all right.
Well, Darren is he's so smart. He handles all this. Tina, you're up.
Okay, good deal. So, as the liaison to this commission, my main work right now is helping us get to the goal of submitting your ideas and your input and what you advise in terms of the bylaws, the organization of the commission, and fulfill, the process will be, I just went over this with the library board yesterday, is that every commission, committee, and board will submit their ideas and their suggestions for their mission, vision, values, I'm gonna call it bylaws. And some of this is in ordinance and some of it will be in policy. You're gonna submit that to the city council. City council is going to be, of course, taking advice from staff as well. And then city council is going to be deciding how to change the ordinances, first of all. And looking at the policies that each committee, commission, and board wants. And suggesting changes to it, approving it, etc. This is an opportunity for every committee, commission, and board member to have input into what's the scope of authority for their group? What is the scope of responsibility? Personally, I have a vision that I would like to see that every one of the committees, commissions, and boards has a time, probably near the end of the year, to make a report to the city council saying this is what we've accomplished the previous year. And this is what we think our work should be for the coming year. And the reason I say at the end of the year, because then I can see that that would feed into the budgetary process. And at some point, it might be, we think that this is the work we should do during the coming year. And we think this is how much it will cost the city. So the possibility of having a line item in the city's budget for every committee, commission, and board stands there. And so I'm here not, I think I'm here to guide your process and your what you think about, not to guide it for the outcome, but to guide it in terms of questions. Have you thought about this? Would you like this, etc. And I think at the council level, we will be looking at how much standardization is going to make it the easiest across our committees, commissions, and boards. But it's not one size fits all. And because there's different work being done, there's different groups, etc. And so I think part of my role is to bring you more questions. Do you like this? Have you thought about this? What about this? And so that you can put it into your discussion. The council does not have another, we don't have an August 25th meeting, so we don't have a second meeting this month. So if you as a group decide that you want to put some extra time into this, like there's already been a time that you met early, etc., that's a good idea. Because I think the goal is that we get through all this work at the council level by the end of the year. And, you know, government runs slow. So your input needs to come in. We have to discuss it, etc. Staff has to write new ordinances, and we have to discuss it some more. And really, by including all of the members of our committees, boards, and commissions, we're not working in a vacuum, and it should be participative. So that gives you sort of an overview. And right now, we're basically each counselor is being asked, where is your group in this process? How far have they gotten, etc., etc. So the next report won't be until the second Monday in September. So
Well, how did your meeting go the other, you were gonna give a talk about us, weren't you? About the commission?
Not, no, not yet.
Not yet, okay. All right, I thought you were gonna do that last time.
Yeah. No, and that is something that, I'll throw out there that you all might want to consider, and that is maybe once a month. You, reach out to, one of the groups that regularly uses this facility, and that's the senior meals.
Mm.
And join them and that kind of thing, but that's another thing you can put as, if you want to make that one of your responsibilities. So. You have, it's wide open, it's, you're able to, make any suggestion you want.
Thank you, Tina.
Sure.
Tracy, you wanna introduce yourself?
I think you already did.
Tracy did?
Yeah.
Oh, when he
Came in,
first
right?
came in.
He came in just at the
All
right
right,
time.
you're
Yeah.
back up there.
Okay, great. Well, looking at the back page of the financial report, we have our building use summary for July 2025. When I look down at the total attendance, 2,210 visits to the community center. That actually is really heartening because that is so close to all of the numbers that we saw, prior to COVID. So that was kind of, it's right in that same ballpark. So tells me two things, that the community center visits are back up to those pre-pandemic levels, but also that my staff people are gathering all the numbers a lot more accurately. I think there was a time there we transitioned to a new database that we're using to track total visits to the center, and things weren't always getting put in there. A little bit of a challenge for staff people because this meeting occurs so early in the month, always the first Wednesday. It's kind of a rush to get those month-end numbers into the database. Make sure that everything is done perfectly. But yeah, looking at our total of the classes, so numbers are up in our Park District classes. We had 296 participants in classes. Congregate meals, 342 participants this last month. So folks are definitely using the facility in that way. Frozen meal pickups and home deliveries, 534 this past month. So that's come up a little bit. Events actually, and I don't have a list of all of the events that we had, but generally they're birthday parties, family get-togethers, weddings, things of that nature in the building. Those are all rentals, 261 participants in those combined. See some of the other senior programming like the games. We had 34 participants in that. Garden Club met over here for their meeting. They do a board meeting once a month, and so they had 7 members at their board meeting. The Knitters, that's every Tuesday morning in this room. Actually, the little Knitters group come in and get together and chit chat and knit and help each other out with difficult things, I guess. They had 27 participants over the month. Other category this month was ukulele band. They're getting the band back together, I guess. So they're 5 people that came back from COVID, met and practiced, and we capture things like phone calls. So we had 70, and that seems actually like a low number to me, but 70 phone calls. We like to capture kind of pretty much every interaction that we have with folks, and as best we can. So like walk-ins, we had 70 folks come in off the street and ask questions. So generally people are looking for some kind of referral somewhere, trying to figure out how to get connected up with this group or how to get connected up here. So we've always felt that one of the important aspects of this facility was to be kind of a community hub resource where folks can get directed to the things they need. One of the other things we do is gas vouchers through Salvation Army. So folks can come in and get a gas voucher when we have those available. So WIC had 37 folks come through. So And then volunteers in all of our categories, and it's mainly really the Northwest Senior Disability Services meal site, where a lot of our volunteers are from. We had 75 folks volunteering throughout the month for a total of 252 volunteer hours, or $8,767.08 in actual volunteer value. So really, really amazing stuff there. Any questions on the building use summary?
Just a comment.
Sure.
I attended an amazing event the other day and coming to senior meals for Saint Along.
Oh, yeah.
We had 62. Yeah,
Mhm.
we ran out. It was amazing, and they all contributed, and we had an entertainer singer.
Okay.
So it was one of the things that I would have liked to have seen when I was the manager of that site. So it was nice to see that and participate. So
Great.
I even got a ticket, but I didn't win.
That's all right. It's not about the destination. It's always about the journey. So in other things, I've been part of an email chain with Spencer and Paul and some of the other public works folks. When Mayor Larson,
Sorry.
Mayor Wright, sorry, you said Mayor Larson
I
earlier,
know.
now I got it stuck in my head. When Mayor Wright attended some of our meetings back in January, one of his pet peeves, I will guess we'll call it a pet peeve, was Lake Bob Chisholm out here in the corner of the parking lot. It grows during the rainy season enough that we actually gave it a name. He kind of was getting connected up with city manager, with public works, to see if there was a way to address that flooding that occurs in that corner of the parking lot. And so they've had an email chain going back and forth. Ed Arden had come out and looked at it, threw some ideas out. And then Jeremy Strimple kind of weighed in with some ideas about some things they could do for that as well. They're talking about French drains around the outside edge. Jeremy has an idea of doing a little shallow well underneath with a pump to pump it back out to the street and just let it naturally drain off down
Over
the
the
street.
system.
So yeah, so they're kind of going back and forth with it right now, but I guess the main point is they're aware of the issue and they're working on it.
Darren,
for
tell
us,
them how
so.
long we've been struggling with it.
Well, it's been a number of years, but it's kind of
Yeah.
gone on and off our radar, really, and
But
so
you've done an
we've kind of kept that pinned up there, and really the mayor was a big driver behind that and getting it, kind of keeping it in front of the public works folks and city staff. So yeah, just
Thank you.
yeah, so just an update that they're looking at it, they're working on it, they're trying to find a solution, and I think Spencer put it really well when he said, it's not about the cost. We're not looking for the cheapest fix. We're looking for a good long-term fix. So if it becomes a budget issue, then we can put it off till the next budget cycle and then make sure that we're able to adequately budget for that. But he wants to address the problem and make it a permanent fix. So.
And I think that that's one of the places where commission members, this commission, given that this building is property of the city, and the city needs to take care of its property, the commission members definitely could be communicating issues about the building to city council for remediation. So.
I think that's an important consideration. And I know you've talked quite a bit about this, is having a good work plan for the upcoming year. And these are the things we'd like to address. So as we, kind of get through this process with the bylaws piece, and we start looking at 2026, I think it's really important that we, set aside time so we get later into this year to really do some good planning for next year, and saying this is really what our work plan is for next year. These are the things that we want to work on addressing, so.
The rusty door can.
The rusty
can be
door.
plan.
I have been, part of another email chain with the rusty door. Thank you very much, Tracy. Nice segue into that.
It's in the other room.
That the city, Ed came over, looked at the situation. They are actively trying to find a new door right now. And thanks to Genesee Dennis, our fire marshal, for kind of keeping that up on the top of the list too. He sent me an email the other day that said that he'd been communicating with public works staff about addressing that. Because of the swelling of the door, the rust and the swelling, it doesn't open and close as it should. And so that becomes a fire life safety issue. So so they're keeping that pinned to the top of their list as well. So they're working on it.
Building security also.
Yeah, building security. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Danny, would you tell our new members about our goal, what we work for the fascination? I mean, they might
Okay.
not know anything about that.
Yeah, just kind of a brief history on that. Back in I want to say it was 2015, 16.
Yeah.
We started kind of doing a little planning for an expansion or an improvement project. And so our focus was on the main hall area. It's actually the oldest part of the building. It's part of the original building. In 1995, Bob Chisholm, who was the public works director for Seaside at the time, kind of got together with his brother, and they decided they wanted to put some energy into this facility. It actually used to look just like a cracker box, just a big square, that main hall area. There was no storage room on the back of it. There was no kitchen on the back of it. It was just a big rectangle. It used to be part of the Catholic Church, part of the local diocese, which also included this house right behind us here, this blue one, and the blue one that faces Avenue B over here. One of them was the priest's home, and the other one was the nunnery, and this was the rectory. And it basically was a gymnasium for all intents and purposes. So you can look in there and you can see, well, you used to be able to see the old remnants of they were high windows up on top. They didn't have the lower windows. And then used to be fluorescent lighting in there with these wire mesh guards over them. So yeah, keep basketballs from knocking the light bulbs out. And just the beautiful glulam beams. And then in 95, they went through, they put in the new windows, they put in new flooring, added the kitchen onto the back, added the storage piece on the back, and then added this entire north end of the building with the office and this conference room and the 2 meeting rooms. So fast forward to 2015, commission got involved in working with the city and the city council to renovate the main hall. We called it our phase 1 refresh project. And that took a few years to kind of really get it off the ground. City council was very much on board with the project. And so we as a commission started putting energy into doing some fundraising. So trying to find some funds to help the project. So we came up with the Fascination Tournament. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Fascination. Yeah, you've been downtown, you played, okay, great. A very frustrating game.
They just don't roll like they're supposed
They
to.
never do. But we built an entire tournament around the Fascination, and we actually have conducted that fundraiser except for 2021.
COVID or something.
For that, during the COVID, we kind of slipped it in there right before COVID hit in 2020. But we had to skip it in 2021, but we were back in 2022, and we generally are able to net about $3,000 for that. So it's not huge, but it's also,
A
it's
fun
respectable.
night.
And but everybody that attends has an absolutely amazing time. And so it's been a really great event. So that you can expect around January, February. Usually it's the later part of February we do this, but expect to be involved in that. And it's a really fun fundraising opportunity for us. And that money basically sits in an account with the Sunset Park and Recreation Foundation. They offered to be kind of a holding area for those fundraising funds. And they just kind of sit there until we get our next opportunity to go through another refresh project. So we have talked and done some exercises around priorities in the building over the past several years. We'll probably go through another exercise at some point to review that again before we actually approach city council to say, hey, we would recommend this as another opportunity. But yeah, so that's a little history of our
Thank you.
Fundraising.
Well, also, we wanted to do that big room first because it's rented out for all kinds of wedding receptions, birthdays,
Right.
the Shabbat. They rent that and it had to be upgraded. It was pretty bad. It's got new lighting, new flooring, new window. We worked very hard on this.
We did. And when you look at also just the daily use, the congregate meal site, with 342 participants, it's just a wonderful space for people to come in. And
But the
enjoy their-
developer and talked, the couple were wonderful, that they were the only ones that could come down and see what we wanted done. Everybody just wanted done. They just want to submit something in mail.
Yeah. So
This
when
couple
we went out to bid the project, only one of the folks that submitted bids actually came down and looked at the space, and they were very hands-on
Oh.
and involved. So
They even
Yeah.
came to our first tournament.
they did, resolve architecture and planning of just a super group of people.
Yes, they are.
Mhm.
Thank you, Darren.
That's, I think, all
I'm gonna interrupt for a question. It
Yeah.
just occurred to me. Are we recording?
we are.
Okay, because I didn't remember hearing somebody say, this meeting is now being recorded.
It was very quiet.
Was it quiet?
Very
Yeah,
good,
you did.
yeah. So, mhm.
All right, are we gonna talk about the bylaw project?
We probably should.
See what,
Yeah, so.
see where we can progress on that.
So right after the Community Center Commission attendance summary, you'll see our council questions, Community Center Commission council questions. This was from our work session last month. Spencer had sent out a list of things to consider. These are some questions to think about as you go through this process. So we spent a good bit of time, and hopefully you had a chance to look through it, Tita. I think you missed a certain portion
I did.
of this conversation. But we just tried to work our way through these questions and just get thoughts and ideas out there. So what I did is I took all of that information, and thank you very much, Julia, for sending that out. Somebody had sent me a kind of just a blank set of bylaws, just a bare bones blank set. So I worked with my close friend ChatGPT. So I uploaded that document. I uploaded the answers to our questions and kind of worked with it to sort of craft up just this really basic draft bylaws. So I just kind of wanted to open it up for you all to discuss, get your feedback and thoughts on these draft bylaws.
And if I remember correctly, I think the mission and vision that you have in these draft bylaws was formulated several meetings ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's
basically,
pretty
we've been
fresh.
working on that since January, actually. So, I think at last month's meeting, we finally got the full adoption of both the mission and vision statements. So, yeah, it was a good 6-month, process to get those crafted.
Should we have the date filled in? It says date down here.
As
That's
soon
when
as
you
we,
finish it.
yes, as soon as we get to a point where,
Pushing it.
yeah, you all will, want to discuss and craft and change and all of the things with these. And I think once we get to a final copy, then you all will probably want to make a motion to accept these and then send it along to city council for their review process, and then we'll kind of be back and forth with city council on these. And then they'll do the final adoption.
Darren, thank you for all the work you do.
Yeah,
How's it different than what was before? Did you think what was before?
what's that?
There weren't any bylaws.
Oh, there were no bylaws.
Yeah, no bylaws before. But we were kind of governed under, city ordinance,
Okay,
and
just they gave us some.
and it was a very
And-
short, it was a
Yeah.
very short bit. It was a very short section like this. And if you guys remember correctly, and I think we've probably talked about this a couple of times. The Community Center Commission actually prior, historically was actually an amalgam of two separate commissions.
Correct.
It was a commission on seniors and then, a community center commission. And both of those at some point in the history, don't know where this occurred, sort of got blended together. So it was.
It was actually when we stopped calling it the senior center,
That's correct.
Mhm.
and that was a council decision.
That's correct.
And at that
Mhm.
point, we decided to blend them together.
Yeah, yeah. And so then at one point we had a 9-member commission.
Okay.
So, but it was a blend of two commissions that just got sort of, were an amalgam. So, yeah, and then I think about 2 years ago, we lost a few commissioners, and I think it was decided at that time to basically dissolve the senior commission and just, brand this the Community Center Commission. So everything sort of fell under that umbrella. So dropped back to a 5-member commission, and here we are today.
Statewide senior centers. There were senior centers and then there were community centers, and it got less and less popular to just be a senior center. However, there are still some, Astoria still functions as a senior center.
But
Yeah.
that's not part of the city. Again,
That's
Astoria.
correct.
Mhm.
But anyway, this is kind of the blend and at that time, we were trying to build community. I was working for Park and Rec at that time, so it was part of our, as Darren was, it was part of our mission to emphasize community development with community, everybody, not just the seniors.
As opposed to just siloing things.
Right.
Mhm.
Seniors, this is for the rest of the community, it's like, it's blending it up and opening it up. So yeah, multi-generational use of a space, not just.
Seniors are part of the community as well.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So I will suggest something to you if you want to go that way, and I did this with the library board yesterday, and that is what I have pulled up here is what's in ordinance right now. And looking at do you want to keep it that way? Do you want to change it? And I think a lot of that is reflected in the bylaws. Remember, what's in ordinance is hard to change.
Mhm.
What's in the bylaws is also hard to change, but not as hard as ordinance. And then what you put in policy is easier to change. Every one of those things ultimately has to be approved by the city council. So they have sort of, I guess, what's in ordinance right now is what I might call mini bylaws that aren't called bylaws.
Right.
So, so you might want to, look at that. And so if you're looking at a few things, first of all, the criteria that that people have to fulfill in order to be on the Community Center Commission. So it says the commission consists of 5 members who are not officials or employees of the city and who shall be appointed by the city council. Okay, so just taking that sentence, you can say, hey, we want to leave it that way, or we want to change it. One of the things I'll just share with you that the library board is thinking about, and that is rather than saying it's a hard 5 members, saying that it's between 5 and 7 members, which gives some latitude to make it larger. And also if someone resigns, you're not out of compliance with your bylaws if you don't immediately appoint somebody else.
Mhm.
I think cross pollination of ideas is always
Yep.
good. So it's something that you might think about.
Yeah, it's certainly something that we do with our food bank, our local food bank, our board and our bylaws, yeah, it is stated as a range. Mhm.
Mhm.
Because things ebb, flow, yeah.
Um, the next sentence on here is a minimum of 3 members shall reside within the city limits. A maximum of 2 may reside within the urban growth boundary, but outside of the city limits. So this sentence means you have to live either in the urban growth boundary or 2 people or the rest in the city limits. Other qualifications for other committees and commissions allows people who either own a business or work for a business in Seaside, even though they don't live in Seaside. And so considerations there are, you could own a business and live in Portland. Might you want to do that? Might you want to do that with we could have 2 people in that. What they talked about yesterday at the library board was people need to have a vested interest in our city of some sort.
Correct. Yeah.
So in the bylaws, he's added a non-resident user serving on the commission,
Yes, and I
And which-
remember you talking about
which
that.
would be, they obviously can't have both.
What
Or
do you,
does that,
what do you mean you can't have both?
well, where would it best fit? Would it be the bylaws or the ordinance?
Well, the ordinance is going to be an abstract of the bylaws, most likely.
So what would we change?
So, I remember your discussion last time was, we have some people who use the building who live in Warrenton. We have one person who brings her mother regularly.
Right.
Her mother lives here, but she lives in Warrenton. And to be able to have a space for someone, now that's a vested interest, even though they don't live here, they don't pay taxes here, but that's a vested interest. So think about, who exactly do you want to have there?
And would it be in the ordinance or the bylaws?
It doesn't matter which one it's in, but there has to, some of it has to be an ordinance in order to guide the city council in what we do. So some of bylaws and ordinance can be redundant, can be the same.
Mhm. So basically what you're saying, so if I understand it correctly, they would, once they choose to adopt the bylaws, then they would recraft the ordinance as a summarized version
I
of
believe,
the,
yes,
yeah,
I believe
okay.
you're correct. So what you just need to think about is, what do you want in bylaws? And then some of that is gonna end up in policy. For instance, something that most of the committees, commissions, and boards don't have in bylaws is a statement regarding conflict of interest.
Mhm.
That should, I wouldn't put that in the bylaws necessarily, but I would put it in policy, definitely. That annually, members must sign on regarding conflict of interest.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that just kind of came to me last night in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Um,
So, like a summarized ordinance can say, for further definition, see the reference.
Or what
the
you say is, will happen, as per policy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then you know that you're being referenced over to your policy
Yeah.
statements.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
And I
Okay.
think what they're not here in the bylaws is good. The non-resident use.
Yeah, I just wanted to call out a standard user because of that vested interest, because I recognize that we had talked about that. but-
I think it's hard to say represent a broad cross-section of the community. At some point, you do have to say maybe where they live, where they pay
Mhm.
taxes, that kind of thing. And this says 3 people, a minimum of 3 have to live in the city. But you can have 2 who live outside the city, but in the urban growth boundary.
Mhm.
Now, what Darren's added here from the last discussion is valuable, and that is a user who doesn't live here at all. Now, what that takes into account, thinking about it, is how do you define the user? Because remember, at the council level, when we get the applications, we have to see, are they qualified? And by the way, the other thing is, you get the opportunity to make suggestions to redo the application. So, and something else that the library board is thinking about, and that is, should you, as the commission, be the first place that interviews potential commission members, applicants, and make recommendations to the council as to, you think this person is a person that the council should have top consideration for, or something like that. So you get more input.
It'd be nice
those
if
are
they
so-
came to a meeting before they apply.
Well, and that's the thing. I know for me, one of the questions I always ask applicants is, have you taken the opportunity to attend a meeting? The other question I really like is, what have you done to prepare yourself for this position? So, but that kind of stuff. So maybe you want to consider that the person comes to a meeting and gets interviewed, or maybe it's the whole commission that interviews them, maybe it's the chair, or maybe it is that several people from the commission join the council when the council does the interview. I mean, there's different ways to do that, but again, this also then adds to commission members' responsibility, that not only is the council responsible for attracting people to commission positions, but people on the commission also have a responsibility to attract. And you attract in a number of ways. So, again, it's the level of involvement. So that's something else that you can be considering. The next section from the ordinance talks about term of office, that it starts on June 1st of each year. And at the first meeting in June, the commission appoints a chair and a vice chair. And one member of the commission will serve as secretary in minutes. So something that came to me recently is somebody said, we can't get a secretary on our board because nobody will do it. So maybe that's the kind of question that you pose at when you're interviewing people. You pose, are you able to come to the meetings as they're scheduled now? Are you willing to take on positions such as chair, vice chair, or secretary? Because, you know, if all of a sudden you get everybody on the board and nobody wants to be the secretary, or it always falls to the same person. And things are getting easier for taking minutes, because with recording, we can convert it by AI. There's a lot of different ways. So those are, I guess what I'm trying to get people to think about is be futuristic about this. One of the things that's happened in the past for a long time, I don't think it's happening now, at least not with this commission, is that you're supposed to file your minutes with the city. And for many years, that wasn't happening. When I first became a counselor, I got a copy of every board and commission's meetings every month, and I loved it. That's me. Not everybody loves it.
No, you're right.
But, you know, I think counselors have a responsibility to be informed. So, then it talks about meetings. Shall hold a regular meeting at least once each month of the calendar year. Okay, now that's a rule that you probably want to soften. And rather than say at least once each month, there might be some months you need to take off. You might say at least 11 months out of the year. to give yourself that opportunity. Just like the city council, we don't say you have to, well, I think we do say twice a month, but then we can vote not to do it. But so you wanna give yourself some latitude. And then it talks about any person appointed to serve who misses 3 or more regular scheduled meetings during a 12-month period shall be notified by letter from the mayor that the position must be vacated. This is a whole thing that we had issues around for several years, and that is people just not coming to their commission meetings. Well, you made a commitment to serve, and if you just don't show up, and then what do you consider excused or not excused? That kind of thing. But technically, if somebody misses a certain number of meetings and you get to suggest what that is, they do get a letter saying either, you know, you need to resign or you need to come to meetings or we're going to fire you.
Mhm.
You know, how does that all work? And this is where you can make those suggestions. It's interesting that they say a 12-month period is defined as a calendar year, and yet your terms of office start in
Fiscal
June.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting. The member shall serve without salary or compensation of any nature. That's not gonna change. That's a good place, though, to say, something like, if you expend your own funds, how would reimbursement, what's the authority to expend your own funds, etc. And then also, that's a good place where conflict of interest, and in the bylaws, you would mention shall attest that they have no conflict of interest, at least once a year, but then as per policy, and then you've got the form and the policy and that kind of stuff. And that's all. This last ordinance was approved in August of 2021, and that's when they changed to a 5-member commission.
Mhm.
And we went from 7 to 5 through attrition. We didn't fire anyone.
Okay.
So,
You combined.
Can I bring up, so number 4 on the first page, powers and duties. So our current powers and duties, I feel we could clarify and or update some of the workings with our procedures for fundraising or our tracking, so that we as a commission or a committee would have better communication with foundation in that regard.
Mhm.
Okay.
and I. will
And the
tell you-
council.
Well, yes, but I will also tell you that, this is true for several committees and commissions, and that is, if you raise money on behalf of the city, it has to go into the city's coffers.
Mhm.
And so one of the things to be thinking about, and this is another reason why I personally want to see a line item for each committee, commission, and board in our budget, so that the money doesn't go into the general fund.
Mhm.
Or if it's in the general fund, it's obligated. What's the right word? Earmarked.
For that.
Yes, for that use. And so defining, I think you want to suggest what you think are appropriate responsibilities and appropriate authorities. So, and how you go about obtaining those authorities.
Okay. I agree.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You've got a lot of information.
I'm doing this several times over.
So do you want, since in the interest of time, sir, do we want to recommend, Madam Chair, that we take this as homework? And let's,
Good idea.
yeah, let's,
Yeah.
I recommend that.
Should be reviewed. I think too, I'll send, Julia, I'll send you a copy of the current, ordinance. I think it'd be prudent to kind of go, I know we kind of
Yeah.
stepped through that, but I mean, kind of looking back,
Right.
back through it and.
And all I did to look it up here was I asked for, I said Seaside Community Center Commission. And the first thing it brought up was the ordinance.
Okay, yeah, we can just send out a link and then folks can pull up.
Right.
And
And-
look at it.
You know, I do think individually looking at it is a good idea, but I think you get better brain.
You can bring the information back.
And I would suggest, and I've suggested the library board and my other commission, my other board, that you take some time to devote just to this topic. The library board at this point is gonna be meeting, they're gonna start their meeting a couple hours earlier to just deal with this.
Mhm.
My tree board is going to have a special meeting and, so at this point, 3 boards are hearing exactly the same thing because they're hearing it from me.
Yeah. So, does the city council have, a sense of timing on this, like, you know?
Yeah,
We hope that we can kind of
Have
this
something
in our
by-
hands
exactly.
Yeah, or by when date.
And I think what we would like to do is have ordinances adopted by the end of the year.
Okay,
Now,
Great.
it takes at least 2 meetings to adopt an ordinance.
Yeah.
And then after adoption, it takes 30 days. So I would say probably we would want to be adopting by December. But before we can ever adopt, it comes to us for discussion and staff has to say, well, this will work, this won't work. You know, and we've got a number of boards, commissions and committees. And I think one of the things that council is going to be looking at is how can we streamline and make as much as possible the same, but knowing that one size doesn't fit all.
Yeah. There
There have to be some different considerations for each one. Library board was trying to get another meeting by the end of this month and they couldn't, so they're gonna be discussing this more fully on September 2nd. So I would say definitely, because the first meeting for the council is September 8th, I believe. I would definitely say between now and September 8th, if you can do something to just sit and sort of plow through it. And looking at other bylaws is always helpful. I write bylaws like crazy for different things. And, you know, every organization has some special consideration. So that's what I would suggest.
Okay.
And I think you've got a good beginning here,
Mhm.
definitely.
Hey, Darren, you have any new business?
No.
I think she covered it all.
I think this is great. We stick with our old business and then, yeah, once we sew this up, I think then moving into working on our work plan for next year, I think would be to have that sewn up by the end of this
We
year.
were such a quiet little group. We didn't really get involved a lot, only for what we were trying to do, raise our money.
I would definitely prepare
Yeah.
to make a presentation probably in December
Mhm.
for your work plan for next year. Take that bull by the horns and, you know, be out
Good idea.
front. So,
and I will, my availability, I have another eye appointment in September. During our regular time, but I have Wednesdays and Thursdays. And anytime after 2:30 in the afternoon, I can meet during the week, if you guys want to do that, so.
Do a special work
That's
session.
the time I
Yeah,
can see
for a work
kids.
session, so,
That's really hard for me because that's the only time I can see kids.
yeah.
When school starts.
Wednesday and Thursday are days off, so you could just throw me in anytime you want to.
So think about it. Now, if everybody's got their calendars, is a good time to try
Right,
and
that's
figure out a meeting. And you can still meet in August. I mean,
Right.
it all.
How do you
whatever
guys
works
feel?
for you all.
That's, I guess, my suggestion is, how do the rest of you feel?
Well, I'm gonna be gone the last week of August. I've got a grandson getting married.
Okay.
And I'm going to the wedding.
Good deal.
Fantastic.
And Julie, I mean, you're a vital link here, so,
As long as it's not after 2:30 when school starts, I can pretty much.
Well, and school
schedule it
starts what, September 2nd? Or
Right
earlier, I
around
don't
there.
know.
Yeah.
right after.
September second.
so
Some
August,
schools have already started.
yeah.
Texas has already started.
I don't know, Mrs. Gooch goes back to work in a couple weeks.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, the bride to be is starting to teach school the week after her wedding. I know it's important.
Well, do you wanna
September second.
come, like we did last time, we came at 9 o'clock before our meeting on, so our meeting will be the 9:03, so we could come at,
So again, that'll be my shot time, so,
that's your shot.
yeah.
So what if we did Thursday instead?
How about after? No,
No, stay later.
okay.
I mean, I have the.
Gentlemen, join in.
Jump in anytime.
Anytime.
Yeah, on Wednesdays, I usually have band practice, so, but, I can, yeah, and that's in Portland. So I can, do it as long as I have 2 hours to drive to Portland, I can do it on Wednesdays, and on Thursday afternoons, I, work in Astoria at 4 o'clock, so
Okay,
if I've got like an hour from 3 to get to work, that'd be fine.
okay,
So otherwise I'm open.
all right.
What about Thursday morning? Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, my schedule's pretty malleable, as long as I have a little bit of advance notice, I can make most things work. I have a few set schedules, of course, later in the evening, I've got, planning and Rotary Board, Wednesday afternoons, but with a little bit of advance notice, but I will be out of the state in the middle of August, so 13th through
Okay,
20th.
so that's a
And
consideration.
Thursday morning, every Thursday morning, I've been doing it I pack Meals on Wheels at our church at 8:30 every Thursday morning,
Okay.
every week.
And
What
how,
about a
how long does
Friday?
that take you?
About an hour. So we're through
By
by,
about 9:30?
yes.
So maybe at 10 o'clock on a
That'd
Thursday
be
morning?
perfect, yeah, except this week I
Well, no,
got,
I'm just, we're talking September 4th.
okay,
Well,
September 4th.
Actually, why don't you back up and look into August? Well, you're gone from when to when?
I'm going from the 13th to the 22nd.
And I'm gonna be last week.
And I'll be gone the 22nd through
I think
the
this month is
28th.
kind of wiped
Yeah,
out.
I'll be
I
gone.
have
I'll be gone the
district
28th.
convention for Kiwanis, so
Well, yeah.
this will be wonderful.
Yeah, I'll be gone the 28th through that weekend, but, yeah.
Okay, so
Seems
it
like
looks
August
like.
is a tough time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of
So-
cramming everything in
Yeah.
that last month of summer.
If you're looking at September, what about, you're saying a Thursday? What
Yeah.
about September the 4th?
Yeah,
September the
I think
4th,
that's what we were
that
talking about.
works, that works, that does.
Does that work for
At what
everybody?
time? 9:30
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
10.
yeah,
or 10, but I don't care.
Why not? Good, well, you got your lunches to pack.
But I'll be done by then. We start at 8:30 in the morning.
And what, okay,
So 10,
takes her about an hour.
I'll be,
Yes.
I'll be through, yeah,
Give her a
9:30 or 10 is
Why
fine.
we
did
can
you
start
say-
at 9:30.
We could start at
9:30?
9:30, yeah.
and 9:30,
It's fine.
Okay, so, and I would say, put 2 hours in your calendar. 9:30 to 11:30, and if you finish early, you're ahead of the game.
September 4th is a Thursday, correct?
Yep.
It
I
is.
didn't, I forgot my phone this morning. Oh,
Oh, I
God,
never-
my whole
I
life
never
is
check.
just,
You know what, I never carry it, so I don't have to worry. My
Uh,
kids got it for me and I leave it at home plugged in.
it's charging.
I'll be all charged.
It's gonna be really charged.
It is. Let me tell you what, I've got to show you what I just had to
I
get.
think we'll do an orientation before then.
I
Okay,
had to
great.
get I fell.
Oh.
And so my kids have been, and this is through my security system.
Yeah.
And it's only
Remember?
good at my house and on my property, because if I fell here, you'd call or Safeway. But anyway, I got, you know,
Yep, looks like a
but I'm
Pacific
doing
Norm
it
product
to
right
make
there.
my kids happy.
So what I put in my calendar was Thursday, September 4th, 9:30 to 11:30, Community Center Commission bylaws board.
Okay,
Yep,
is that okay with you?
that
On my
sounds good.
schedule, I'll be there, I just gotta do something.
And because it's a work session, it needs to be noticed as a public meeting.
Yeah.
We can do that.
I didn't hear what you said.
It has to be noticed as a public meeting,
Okay,
so.
okay, we need comments. Anything more you want to say, Tracy? You're
Hmm.
going to make a comment? We're doing comments
Well,
on
no, I don't have any other comments.
Darren.
None for me. I'll talk enough.
All right, what about Kevin?
No comments.
Are you gonna come back?
I'm gonna come back.
Yeah, have we scared you enough or will you really be coming?
It's pretty
What
tasty.
about you, Patrick?
I'm just glad to be here.
I'm glad, you know what, I am so glad you guys are here too. We've been lonely. What about you, Julie? Me too.
I have one suggestion. I noticed that many of the boards that I'm on are changing the language of old business to ongoing business.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's kind of
I'm
a
glad you
nicer
told us that.
way.
I'm going this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't think that's a problem. I think we can,
As I go around, I'm just sharing that with people because it just
Okay.
sounds nicer.
Does anybody want to make an adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
Need a second.
Oh.
Thank you.
There you go.
Then everybody joins
Yeah.
in.
Jump in right now, right?
Thank you guys for
Sure.
joining
Appreciate
us.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you're here.
All right.
I think about it every time.